What's up, Lorehounds? It's Koopa inside the Carbine Studios. We're here with David Bass, Senior Community Manager for WildStar. You guys actually just announced a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, you do it every Wednesday. You guys give us a bunch of information, but you did some huge stuff on quests and changes to that system. How? Why? What was it based upon? Why did you go that way?
So we had the beta running since like January this year, and the most common feedback we had was that people really didn't like the quest system. It just felt very normal and standard, which is not really WildStar's style. And so we took a look at it and we talked a lot about it, and we kind of agreed with them that it was just kind of a basic like kill 6 things, kill 8 things, you know, basic system. And so we took a step back, we reworked the system, and we've almost finished it now internally, so that's why we've been holding off on the next beta phase. But now the quest objectives in your tracker, instead of saying like kill 6 things, it actually has a progress bar, like percentage. And as you kill things, that progress bar increases until you hit 100%, and then you're done with the quest. And it seems like it's just kind of a visual thing, but what that actually allows us to do is give you different amounts of quest progress based on what you're killing. And so now, if I'm an AoE class, I can grab 6 little creatures, kill them all at once, and each one will give me just a little bit of quest progression, but I'm killing them all really fast. Or I can take down this giant boss that I see, and my progress bar will just jump 40%. And so it lets us have that variability there, so you can choose how hard or easy you want your fight to be, and still progress as fast or as quickly as you or as slow as you want. So
you're not removing the kill a bunch of things, but you can choose to kill something more difficult that'll count as a bunch of things at once.
Exactly, and you can't do that when it just says like kill 6 creatures, because every creature counts as 1. And so this way it lets us do a little bit more of that, so there's a lot more player choice involved in how you want to complete that quest.
Yeah, you can have an easy day just kind of milking it a little bit, or you could actually try and, you know, achieve something by taking down the giant monster.
Exactly, and the other advantage of the system is that by using this now, we've also started using open mob tagging. So now it's no longer like if I hit the mob first, nobody else gets any credit for helping me out. Now, if I see you attacking a creature, I can come over, help you out, and based on the experience I get from that kill, depending on how much I contributed to it, my quest will progress, yours will progress, and we'll both get experience, we'll both get loot from that.
Sounds a little bit like the public quest system in Warhammer Online, may it rest in peace. I did love their Tome of Knowledge thing as well, which is also kind of in there as well with the way you're tracking the progress.
Yeah, we've got, and we also have, especially with Tome of Knowledge stuff, we've got achievements. We've got a galactic archive, which is tons of lore unlockables based on as you kill creatures, you learn more about them. As you explore the world, you'll unlock more entries in there. If you're a scientist, you'll actually be able to unlock special entries in there that only you can read because you're a scientist.
So you guys also announced just actually a couple of days ago the whole idea of how you guys are handling cross-realm. And WildStar is actually doing it from the get-go. Pretty much everything you would want is cross-realm already at launch.
Yeah, I mean, we're doing full cross-realm support for everything except, I guess, the open world. I mean, the reason you need servers in the first place is because you can't handle having everyone in the same place in the open world.
There's nothing worse than starting an MMO, finding someone, you know, out in the fleshy world, and being like, oh, you play too? What server? We'll never see each other again.
It's exactly like you jump back into World of Warcraft, and you're like, all right, what server is everybody playing on? And you get like 10 different answers. You're like, all right, well.
And I logged off. So actually, one of the most interesting things you guys have talked about recently is the way you guys are perceiving crowd control. And I guess perceiving isn't the right word at this point, considering you just took it completely different than any other game I've really played, to the point where you can actually CC a boss?
Yeah, so 2 different aspects of crowd control that we're doing that are really, really fun. I mean, first of all, crowd control is a very enjoyable thing to use and very important for strategy, especially in PvP, but it's very frustrating to have it used on you because you're just like, all right, I guess I'm just going to sit here for a couple seconds. And so for us, we have a system called breakout gameplay. And basically, anytime you get crowd controlled, no matter what type of crowd control that is, there's something you can do to either shorten the length of it, to fight through it. And for example, like if you get stunned, you can start ramming on the F key to try and break out of it early. And you'll be able to break out of it, I think, you can knock off maybe half the time of that stun just by ramming the key as fast as you can. Or if you get disarmed, your weapon actually gets thrown out into the world. And so you can't use any of your abilities, and 5 seconds later or whatever, you'll get your weapon back. Or if you rush over and pick it up off the ground, you'll end that CC immediately. And so from that side of it, for the PvP aspect, it's really fun to be able to crowd control someone and then see them break out of it, and vice versa. Like, you're no longer, when you get blinded, It's not like, oh, all my attacks just automatically miss. It's literally that you can't really see anything on the screen. And so if you can somehow manage to hit people by aiming properly, great, but it's
just get lucky.
Yeah, but it's going to be really hard to do so. And then from the other side of it, for the bosses, we've got what we call interrupt armor. And so most bosses will have, say, 2 interrupt armor. And what that means is anytime I use some sort of crowd control on them, an interrupt, a stun, a blind, anything like that, their interrupt armor will go down by 1. And once their interrupt armor is at 0, the next stun that lands will actually stun the boss, or actually interrupt the boss.
It really fits with the idea that you guys are going for, where you're trying to be really hard in that group content instance, whether it be raid or dungeons. So you're bringing that Twitch aspect, really, is what you're doing with the breakout gameplay.
It's a Twitch aspect, and it's also just more of a strategic planning, because you can change all your abilities out of combat. You can plan ahead. You can see what you're about to pull. Learning those fights, we think that learning fights is really interesting and really fun. Learning new mechanics, being introduced to new telegraphs, to new creature types. All of that stuff is what keeps things fresh and keeps you from getting bored while you're leveling or at the end game.
All right, David, so we're getting tons of more information. We're obviously getting big system stuff. A lot of feedback from the community is getting put in. Does that mean we can expect the game soon?
The game is still scheduled for next year, spring 2014. But we are, like I said, beta is, we've been on hold for a little bit while we rework some of these game systems. We're going to be restarting the beta later this year, definitely before the end of the year. And once we start putting people back in, we're going to ramp that up really fast, because we got to start adding as many people as possible. The time for the major system feedback is over. Like we think everything's in a really good place. Now it's just time to get as many people as possible in the game, you know, making sure the servers can stay up, making sure that people enjoy the game overall. And so that time's going to come pretty soon.
All right, gamers. So Lore Hounds, we'll try and get you in there as soon as we can. Hopefully David can hook us up with some early access, maybe. You know, so are we shooting like open beta time early 2014 then?
Open beta will be right before launch, so sometime early spring maybe.
All right. WildStar, get with it. Thanks.